to brag about how long I could work and how many hours. See, there's no price for that. You die early. And all the money you accumulate, somebody else would spend it for. You know what? I learned it the hard way. I learned it the hard way. So having good work. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Wenam. Please subscribe to this channel. We have a glorious time here. As you can tell from the title, today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you how I normalize my high blood pressure without taking medication. And I want this video to be as educative and informative as much as possible. But most importantly, I want to break this whole topic of high blood pressure so that anyone can understand. So it's going to be like in layman terms. A quick disclaimer: I'm not a medical doctor, even though I'm a physiotherapist and I work in the health field and I have a bit of knowledge in high blood pressure and whatnot. But I'm not a medical doctor, so this advice is based on my research and things that have worked for me. If you have high blood pressure, definitely go and see your medical doctor and get put on a plan. But these are some of the tips that can help you along the line as you seek medical advice as well. And so, without wasting much time, let's get right into today's video. Our clients come to the facility, and then when you ask them some of their condition, they go like, "Oh, I have blood pressure." Having blood pressure is not a medical condition. In fact, if you don't have blood pressure, it means you are dead. Blood pressure is the pressure with which the blood circulates around our body, carries blood around our body. You know, the blood is what carries the oxygen, the nutrients needed to nourish our body. So every human being has blood pressure. The condition is whether your blood pressure is too high or is too low. When your blood pressure is high, that is what we call hypertension. And when it is low, we say hypotension. So I just want you to know that having blood pressure is what makes you human. Start with. We are told that some of the causes of high blood pressure could be obesity or being overweight, physical inactivity, when your diet is not on point, and that conditions, like I've already said, all those things can cause high blood pressure. So here's how mine started. I was experiencing really bad headaches, like severe bad headaches, and I kept hearing that, and I'm check your BP, and I'm check your BP. I just kept ignoring. I just thought that probably because I didn't eat early or I didn't sleep well. That's why I didn't think it was a problem. But one day the prompting came so strong, so I went into the doctor's room and then asked that my BP was checked. And when she checked, she asked, "Are you hypertensive?" I said no, and she was like, "Your BP is quite high." So of course I panicked. Then we waited a while and we checked again, it was still high. So the doctor advised I should go home, rest, and then, check the BP over a week for them to have, there's a name they call it, like a profile. Yeah, a profile so that they know what to do. So then I went to another doctor, and that doctor wanted to put me on antihypertensive. And I'm like, hold on a minute, like, how old am I? And these antihypertensives, most often than not, you are going to stay on it for the rest of your life. So I was like, no, 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 I didn't want to do that. It was like, no, the BP readings was just too high, and they had to put me on it. And some doctors are just in a hurry to write drugs. I don't really blame them. I mean the pressure and everything is bad. People should be given opportunities to choose what they want to do with their lives. So I said no. And the first doctor told me to go and rest at home and everything, which I did. But what I did was that dawn, I woke up and then I started skipping because I really wanted the BP to go down. When I did that and I went back to the hospital and they checked, my BP was just way up there. And she was mad that I didn't listen to her. Clients are stubborn. Yeah, I know that. So that's how it went. And then the doctor said it was almost impossible for it to be reversed. But there's no impossibility in science. That's what I say all the time. So I took it up as a challenge, and I started putting things in place to normalize my BP naturally. And these are the things I'll be sharing with you. And I think everyone should just take these things seriously, because you shouldn't wait for something to happen before you start taking good care of yourself. And so let's get right into the things I did to normalize my BP. I'm going to be sharing 7 things I did to normalize my BP. There's a bonus point at the end, so please keep watching the video so that you don't miss out on that really, really important point, right? So the first thing I did was I asked myself, okay, and what can I do immediately that can positively affect my BP? When you go to the hospital, the first thing the doctors might tell you is you are too big, so reduce. I mean, you can, and then I was weighing about 118 kilos. How do I reduce that? So that information alone, like, kind of puts pressure on the client and increases the BP at the end of the day. So I started by asking myself what I could change immediately. And so the first thing I decided to do was to work on my sleep hours. So now let's talk about sleep. I Sleep was something I could immediately work on. I was sleeping about 3 to 4 hours a day. So I could immediately increase that to 7 to 8 hours, which is the ideal time for sleeping. And up until the time I had my BP, I didn't really understand what the significance of sleep. So now I drive a car, yeah, and I cannot imagine driving the car 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I can't even imagine driving that car continuously for 10 hours or even 15 hours. But that's what we do when we deprive our body of sleep. We are like the car, like our body as an engine. We are using it continuously non-stop. And so it gets hot like how the car engine gets hot when you drive over a long distance. And that heat is what we would term here as high blood pressure because then your body is actively working. So that's where sleep comes in. Sleep comes in to refresh you, to rejuvenate you, to give your brain and other parts of the body enough time to repair itself for the next day. But when you do not have enough of that, and usually when people talk about sleep, they go like, "Oh, you is because you have money or you are put together." I remember one of the celebrities said this about sleep. I think it's Kwame Despite son. And people really trolled him on social media, but it is true. And so you have these conditions like I went through. I didn't really appreciate sleep. But sleep is really, really important. And I used to flex or brag about having worked for 3 years without going on leave and all of those things. Like, that is why in the natural work setting, we even have leave so that you go home and sleep, but still we go and work. And then at the end of the day, it shoots up our BP. So sleep is very important. And if you are battling with high blood pressure, that's one of the first things you can do. You can just start sleeping more now, and it would affect your blood pressure significantly. The next thing I worked on was my diet, and that's also something you can start working on immediately. So for me, I don't really eat breakfast. I'm the type to want to sleep immediately after eating. So I am typically a chronic late night eater. Like I used to be. I've changed. Amen. I used to be a chronic late night eater, but not anymore. So I eat, and then a few minutes later, I am asleep. And then I used to do a lot of chocolates and comfort food like cakes, chocolates, and all of those things. And an accumulation of that is what causes the weight increase and then causes your BP to shoot up. So if you're battling with BP, or even if you're not battling with BP, to prevent it from even happening, you have to check your diet because ultimately we become what we eat. And so if the arteries that pump the blood through the body has more nutrients like greens, veggies, and all of that, it's easier for it to be absorbed into the bloodstream, and then it keeps the arteries open. But when you eat the junk like chocolates and all of that do not really have direct nutrients, I'm not saying they don't have nutrients, but you know what I mean. They kind of like form a layer in the artery. So instead of, let's say, a lot of water flowing through the artery or the pipe, which is the artery, that it becomes smaller and smaller, and so then the heart has to beat more to be able to push the blood through. Because if there's a tube that is bigger and a tube that is smaller, and the same amount of pressure is going through them, the one that is bigger would have a free flow compared to the one that has a smaller tube. So when you eat these junk food, it makes the tube smaller and then it increases the blood pressure. That's just how it works. And so what I have done personally is I always have like fresh lettuce in my refrigerator that is ready to eat. So even if I still want to eat late at night, I put the lettuce on the plate first, then I add the rest. So then that reduces the carbs and the protein at the end of the day. And I always have apples now. I make it visible in the fridge. And my friend also does amazing Greek yogurts for me that I just snack on at night so that the body doesn't have to overwork itself when I am asleep, because sleep is where it's supposed to rest. So when you eat late, for example, and you go to bed, the food has to digest. So the body is still working. You understand how that affected me. So changing my diet, not completely changing it, I still eat chocolates, but I just choose smart. So instead of normal chocolate, I do like dark chocolate now instead of the cakes and all of that. I If I want to have cake, I eat a lot of food. Like I eat normal food, drink a lot of water. So then I'm not really able to eat as much cake as I would have previously done. So these are like some simple tricks you can use that can help. I mean, when you go to the hospital, they go like, "Don't eat this." It's not that simple, but when you incorporate these tricks, it makes it easy. So that's what I did with my diet to normalize my BP. In addition to the diet is alcohol and smoke, and that's one of the reasons why I don't take alcohol. Apart from the fact that I do not understand why any human being wants to take something bitter. I can never understand. I can never understand that. Apart from that, I do not want to add that to the list of my problems. That's why I personally don't do alcohol. But if you're even taking alcohol and you deceive yourself that a glass of wine is good for the heart, and so you have to take it, then let's just stick to a glass of wine, because it has been shown that too much alcohol and smoking also affects the rate of your blood pressure reading. And so I just thought to chip that in as well. Another way I decreased or reduced my high blood pressure was to engage in physical activeness. Now, this is a very tricky one, because when you go to the hospitals, the doctors tell you that you have to be more active. And the work of a physiotherapist is a very active work. I don't sit continuously for 15 minutes in my consulting room. In You will get up, because it's a very functional and active kind of program. I mean, you say physical therapy, it's very physical. However, I still had high blood pressure. That should tell you that it's not just about being active all over the place. People come to the room and you tell them about exercise and go like, oh, I do a lot of house chores. That's not what we are talking about when we talk about increasing physical activity. We are talking about conscious exercising to keep fit. So we are talking of, you have, for example, a plan to take about 1,000 to 5,000 steps every day to keep fit. It is more organized and not like I'm doing house chores, so I've increased my physical fitness. That's not how it works. Because these exercises at the end of the day helps to reduce the blood pressure. Now here's the tricky thing. Like it happened to me when I was told about my blood pressure. The following dawn, I skipped about 500, and then when I went to the hospital, the BP didn't drop; it went up. Because when you are exercising, the heart is beating very fast, blood is pumping quickly, so that increases high blood pressure. However, when you continually exercise with time, it normalizes the BP, and that is why athletes relatively have lower blood pressure than the normal human being. So, for example, if you are told that the normal BP is about 120/80, let's just take it like that, 120/80, athletes' BP is lower than that. So when those people, that's why we take history when you come to the hospital, because when you come and the person is an athlete, the BP would be lower than 128. And you might think a person is hypotensive, but it's not. That is his or her normal BP, because the person has exercised and keeps exercising. So the BP has really, really like lowered. The body is so used to all of that. So that's how it works. So there are practical things you should do and conscious exercise you should do to keep fit, and not just say I'm doing house chores or I run around a lot. Okay. So me, for example, I started going to the gym at least 3 times every week, at least. And what really helped me with the gym is I got a gym buddy who has a sports background. So she is like highly motivated. So she can like push me to work out. So that's one of the things. Another thing is just taking about 1,000 to 5,000 steps every day, conscious. And there are wristwatches that can track that, not like general walking, but you wake up and you have to take 5,000 steps. There are wristwatches connected to phones that help you do that. So it is when even some of the mobile phones can even check your BP and all of that. Yeah, I say. So that's it about increasing physical activity or activeness as far as normalizing BP is concerned. So the next thing I did was to reduce my weight. I was weighing 118 kg. Sometimes it goes up to 120. That's what I reduced my weight. And like I said, starting off by thinking of reducing your weight can increase your blood pressure because that is stress. So you don't have to bother about really reducing your weight. You just have to sleep more because it has also been shown research that if you don't sleep enough, your weight increases. So just focus on sleeping, eating well, having organized or tailored physical exercises. Your weight will reduce almost automatically. And here's the tricky thing about the weight as well. Somebody can weigh 120 and that would be good weight. And somebody can weigh 120 and that would be bad weight because there's muscle weight and there's fat weight. So it's not really about the scale. I don't really check my weight often now because I know that it's not really about the weight. It's about what is making up that weight. Is it fat or it is lean muscle? Yes, that's what really. So not really bother. What I can say about weight is don't really bother yourself about the weight. Just sleep, just eat well, make sure you have a tailored physical exercise. That will kind of like take care of itself. So yeah, that's it. The next thing I'll talk about is stress management. I'm sure you've heard a lot about stress management, but here's my perspective. It's about having a good work life balance. I used to brag about how long I could work and how many hours. See, there's no price for that. You die early, and all the money you accumulate, somebody else would spend it for. You know what? I learned it the hard way. I learned it the hard way. So having good work and life balance is so important. We live in a part of the world where now it's just work and sleep, work and sleep, work and sleep. That is not good enough. You should have leisure, things you do for leisure. It should be part of your routine. And that is why I started taking Kizoma class. Yeah. I started dancing. I took Kizoma class and I realized that it is a lot of cardio to start with, apart from all the other benefits it comes with. I swim as well. Like now, the leisure is part of the routine. I have it like in my diary. It is a must for me to do it because it helps me de-stress. It helps me relax. It helps to refresh and rejuvenate me for the work that is ahead. So I think that yes, the economy is something else and we are all about the money, but we should make time to, you know, relax because what's the point of making all that money if you are not healthy enough to enjoy it, or for you to make all that money and spend it on health? It doesn't make sense to me at all. So I think that work life balance is something that should be taken serious. Let's stop glorifying hard work that does not have any rest in it. There's I've been there, I've done that. It's not worth it. It's really not worth it. The last thing I'll say before the bonus point is to have routine checks. BP monitors are not expensive. With 500 cedis, I think you can get a good one. You can go to your local drugstore and have it checked every week. Like I said, the blood pressure is what is keeping you alive. It is what is pumping blood. It's just every prudent human being will know this and know that checking a BP once a week is the best minimum. So I think that routine checks are very important. Also because it helps you keep track of your system and you can easily detect when something is going wrong. I think one of the things that helped me was that there was like early detection, so that really helped. But if I had waited for, and BP is like a silent killer. Like, well, me, I had the severe headaches, and I was fast enough to, or I got that awakening or prompting to know that it was BP. But for most people, you will not even know. Before you realize you have a stroke, before you realize you go into coma and you are dead because a blood clot. What like BP is just high blood pressure is just bad. Okay, so having that routine check is not luxury. Like, it's something that every human being that is serious about their health should be doing. And even people that are on the antihypertensive medication, you should check because at sometimes I don't know your body just switches off, and the drugs do not even work. And because you think you are taking it is working, not really. So once a week, checking your BP, it will go a long way to help you normalize your blood pressure when it starts shooting up in time before it gets out of hand. Now to the bonus point. One of the things that helped me regularize my BP is having routine massage. Yep, you didn't see that coming. But let me tell you about massages. Massages are very therapeutic. I'm not saying this because I'm a physiotherapist, but if you want a massages, contact me or my friend VS Spa. She gives amazing massage packages. Massage, the ton of research exists to prove that massage helps with blood pressure. And when I was in the process of normalizing it, I realized that the weeks that I have massage, when I check my BP, it drops. It goes lower than the usual, average or the usual thing. So massages really helps with BP. In a part of the world, massage is considered a luxury, but it's not. Massage has so many benefits, like so crazy benefits, a lot of benefits. I'll probably do another video where I'll talk about all the benefits of massage so that you can take it seriously. It's not a luxury at all. And just incorporating that once a month to help relax my muscles from all the gymming and all the physical activity and all of that really helped me reduce my blood pressure. So in summary, I normalize my BP by sleeping more, eating well, having regular exercise or being on a regular exercise program, distressing, positive work-life balance, routine check. I reduced my weight and I added massage to my routine as well as kizomba classes and swimming. And I just want to say that BP is very essential. Don't joke with it. It's like a killer. I've already said it's a silent killer. You don't see it coming. It just comes and drops on you. So it's important for all of us to take that seriously. And also remember that the blood pressure is what causes the body to function well. So we should take it seriously to prevent other complications like stroke, like heart failure, and all of that. So that's it for today's video. As you can tell, it's a health video. And so share this video, it will help somebody. And until next time, see you. Bye.